Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Ouch My 30s, the podcast about the decade no one prepared us for. I keep going back and forth between trying to make this a video podcast and an audio podcast. And if you listen to this, I'd love your feedback. Which would you prefer? Do you prefer this more intimate, one-on-one experience diving into the personal travails and turmoils of Duval George Culpepper? Or would you like to see me on video, pontificating equally? Let me know. Send me a message. You know how to get at me. Life's been good, I guess. Been a little weird. Been in Los Angeles. Yeah, LA's depressing. Like, it's weird because the people are depressed. It's not a depressing place itself. It just seems like everyone still has this PTSD from COVID, and there's everything's very muted. And I don't know if that's universal, but it's probably not, because I've been in the South and those people don't give a fuck. But whatever. So, I'm living my life. There's an open mic at a wine bar nearby that I walk over to. It's a nice little, in the day, working my tech job. I get to go experience a reprieve, telling some jokes to a bunch of... that's the other thing, too. I realize, I'm the elder millennial at this old open mic now. I think, it's mostly 24, 25-year-old dudes. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, I'm a decade older than these guys. And it doesn't, throw me off. It's just... I remember being that age and that sort of camaraderie and latching on to one another as comics, happens then. And now I'm just kind of tell my jokes, linger around for a bit, then take off. So it's interesting sort of witnessing that and also kind of appreciating that my point of views and perspectives are not perhaps as relatable to them. And, they're the farthest thing from, the metric for what is funny, or at least what other people would consider to be funny, being out in the real world doing shows. But yeah, half the time I stare into the crowd of just, again, 25-year-old comics, and you can tell they just really don't know where I'm coming from, or have never encountered a person like me before. So they've never had a friend like me. So anyway, it's fine. It's nice little workout. What else? I was attacked by a homeless person. That was interesting. I was going to get a drink. I'd been struggling with whether or not I wanted to go grab a cocktail. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go out and have me a drink. I deserve it. And I walk outside my apartment, and there's this shambling figure wearing a shower curtain as a dress and a garbage bag backpack. And he's about to cross the street, but then he catches me in his periphery and then locks on to me like a fucking NPC in a video game. I was like, oh boy. And he closes within 3 feet. I'm like, oh, he's really about to fucking hit me. So I deflected the strike, spun around, said, the fuck you doing? And he said, go back to New York City, faggot. And I was like, how'd he know? So I'm fine, but definitely has made me feel like I don't want to be here. And not oh, I'm not safe. A little bit, actually, because I'm just not in a physical state to be fucking fighting homeless people. I can fight, a dude, but an irrational homeless person who thinks I'm Abraham Lincoln or something, there's no winning that fight. So, yeah, it's I'm paying way too much money to be attacked by crackheads. That's absurd. So, fortunately, I only signed a 6-month lease, and I can kind of reevaluate ahead of that. But, yeah, like I said, it's just it's a dangerous, muted city. It's it's a shame because there's so much about LA that I fucking love. Or I take that back. So much about LA that I did love in my formative years. Coming up here in the comedy scene and having a fledgling commercial acting career, all those things were really, they were powerful moments, and now I just feel like I'm trying to relive them. That's what happens every time I come to LA. I'm just trying to relive what I remember previous moments of happiness to be, or where previous moments of happiness were. And, famously or clichely, uh, you can never go home. And the older I get, the more I recognize that, where it's like, you can revisit, you can go through the Magic Mountain, or what's that fucking Knott's Berry Farm time machine ride? Yeah, like you can sit on the ride and revisit old times, but you're never going to feel the serotonin, dopamine drip that those things once provided you. So, it's kind of a drag, but it's at the same time, it's like I'm 36. Like I'm not the 26-year-old I was, physically or mentally or spiritually. There are things here that just like, there are things about LA that I can forgive as an older person now. And I do genuinely feel a lot less consternation and frustration about the banality and fucking superficiality of this city. I'm just like, look, the weather's nice. I can find some quiet corner to appreciate it in, but LA's always LA's always been a spiritual shithole in that regard. Even this kid at the open mic, what was the point I was trying to make? Let me get some coffee. Yeah, hold on, man. Daddy's. Yeah, I'm just not the same person anymore. Like I'm not driven. When I was first in LA, I was driven. It was like I want to get on commercials and make this ex-girlfriend jealous, and like now 10 years later, still have that energy for another girl, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about like people seeing me on TV and like getting revenge. Like I want to be known creatively. I want to be known as a creative thinker, but not that way. I don't want to be in a Doritos commercial and derive some sort of sense of validation from that. So all that to say, I don't know. It's fine. I'm doing some stand-up. I'm working a tech job I really don't fucking care for, but it pays me a tremendous amount of money. So, and I have health care. So it's a good temporary gig. But yeah, I mean, just doing it. I need to respond to all my voiceover auditions and not fuck off on them. I need to maybe create an audio drama. I need to write How to Manage Your Girlfriend's White Guilt, the web pilot. It's about shifting. And you're a crazy person if you're trying to live how you were living prior to the pandemic. It's the amount our lives have changed in, 2023? 3 years. In 3 fucking years, all of our lives have motherfucking transformed. And people don't really talk about it. People are just like, well, I'll just go back to doing this. Okay, everything will be okay. And it's like, no, you can look in people's eyes, the hypervigilance, the fear, and the concern, or the lack of joy. It's not depression. It's like a lack of joy. Again, muted, I feel like, really describes people in this town right now. Because they're such softies here that when they were faced with, like, actual calamity, they're like, oh, I don't know. Like, it's like someone who's never been yelled at being yelled at for 3 years. And then, they have to go back to trying to be some bright, optimistic person. It ain't gonna happen. So, and also in dating here, I've like really gotten sort of, I think this is sweatpants chic now. I think my days of trying are over for a while. And not like I'm not gonna bathe not trying. I just mean like, first date I went on, girl explained Black Lives Matter to me and tried to nigger-splain me. She's like, what do you do for Black Lives Matter? I'm like, bitch, I live. Like, the fuck are you talking about? That was a wild date. And then I met this other girl who was super nice. We like exchanged like voice notes on this dating app, and like we're like laughing, and then like we met up and like had no chemistry, which I don't know. I don't know what that's about. It was fine, but it was, she texted me like a couple days later. She's like, so I was just getting friend vibes. I was like, yeah, me too. Like it wasn't even like, I mean, she was pretty, but She's like, so I don't know if you're looking for friends. Like, I didn't respond, not out of like any like bitterness. I was just like, no, I'm not looking for friends. That's plenty. Yeah, and there's, I think women here, and probably many places for women in their 30s, are just like, they got rules. And I'm not talking about like consent and being a decent human being. Like, that's always been a part of the fucking pathology and my reality. It's like, and more importantly, I have too low my self-esteem is too low to not observe and appreciate the importance of those things in interpersonal romantic relationships. But there's a difference between that and like, if you disagree with me or interrupt me, this is a crime. And that's the energy I got. Like, I'm used to talking to people and like interjecting, right? Not like not letting them speak, but like if you say a point, I'm gonna jump on that point. This girl and I were talking. She's like, I'm like, fuck Black Lives Matter. She's like, I helped close 3 prisons. Or she's like, no, I work with disadvantaged, at-risk populations and economically depressed. She sounded like a fucking press release. And I was like, okay. She's like, and I helped close 3 prisons. And I was like, is that what black people want? Did you ask black people if we want you to close prisons? Just as not saying it's good or bad. I was like, how did you come to that conclusion? And why are you the one who gets to decide that? And she's like, so you're just not going to let me speak then? I was like, this bitch, I'm about to fucking, like, it was wild, and it felt like any expression of sort of masculinity, for lack of a better word, or forwardness. It's early, I just woke up. Just I don't know, having a fucking personality and like having some energy, I don't know, maybe I'm just used to like East Coast. I don't know, this bitch was from Massachusetts. I'm calling her a bitch because she was, okay? She wagged her finger in my face and told me what I needed to know about Black Lives Matter, okay? But like, yeah, there's no longer this like playful banter. Like the hottest, most intense, beautiful relationships I've ever had were with girls where like, it was a back and forth. It wasn't just her, yelling or just, making her point, and I have to sit there and be like, you are right. Oh, you know what? As a male, I will listen. Because as like, fuck all that, It's like, it's a partnership. Equality means it goes both ways. You wag your finger in my face, I wag my finger in yours. It goes both ways. And maybe that's an old school, Harlem boy, Latina interested, girl with the hoop earrings, Italian, who the fuck are you talking to? Like, mentality. Maybe that girl doesn't exist anymore, but they damn sure ain't in fucking Los Angeles. Or Silver Lake anyway, So with all that to say, I'm wearing sweatpants and bathrobes moving forward, and fuck dating out here. Yeah. Yeah, man, shit. Fuck these bitches, man. They ain't shit. Fuck all that, man. Trying to tell me about Black Lives Matter. I do that voice a lot in this podcast. I don't know. But, look, it's like fucking, I'm making 6 figures, sitting in my underwear, dreaming still. I just need to really turn a corner here. Yeah. Yeah. But what would be better? I do not know. I mean, and then like the drifting, the only thing that makes me happy is the idea of getting into a Lexus RX 350, putting my shit in it, and hitting the road again. It's like, and it's this thing I've been trying to run from the longest time, because I've always felt such guilt about leaving places, because most other people have to stay, or most other people choose to stay places for long periods of time. And that's just never appealed to me. And, as I've grown up, I see what I've lost by not doing that. I see, how my career has probably been negatively impacted. I see how my relationships have been negatively impacted, because you can't just drift in and out of people's lives and expect them to stop everything when you return. I get that, but there's still, I just get bored places, I just like, let's get up, go to work. The routine just drives me fucking insane. And like, yes, like you can break up your routine to a degree in a city, but I don't know, but you got to play the game. You got to pay rent, and you got to work that job that allows you to pay that rent. And, I just want to downsize and just not play that game. And that's what I've been trying to run from. It's that Hunter S. Thompson talks about it, the rubber sack, this thing that grips you and kind of keeps you in place. And it's like what made him flee all over all the time. That sense of just sort of like, gotcha, bitch, from society. And I don't know, would I be happy in Tampa, Florida? Probably not. I'd probably be very lonely, but it just seems like less, I don't know. I don't know. But I do, perspective's good, and shifting your reality is always a good thing. And whether I stay here or not, as I've always dreamed about, my family's place in the woods. It's like, my dream is to be tearing up New York City in front of audiences that'll probably understand what the fuck I'm talking about, and then be able to retreat upstate and do podcasts like this in my little woodland retreat, and then go back down to the city to get some culture, or fly to Miami, or drive to Nantucket. That just seems more appealing to me, because the West Coast is just so impermanent and riddled with crime and overpopulation and just like, ugh, and people who are just like delusional. I'm sure there's some delights here, but it's tough. Where did everyone go? Where are all my friends? Where are all my friends? I'm texting, I'm not just singing like a crazy person. Or am I? So yeah, that's pretty much where things are at. Not terrible. Always could be more ideal. But that's the journey, right, guys? That's what we're working towards. Trying to improve all the time. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. Anything else? Any notes here? The Last of Us. Yeah, I'll save that for a video, I guess. That last episode was gay. No, my only points about that were, I'm just watching it, and I'm like, oh, I'm picking up some gay undertones here. Oh, these are overt tones. And I'm like, okay, 15, 20 minutes. I'm like, are there going to be plant zombies again soon? Like, why am I watching two 50-year-old bears come of age in this fucking plant zombie show? You know what I mean? Because then there were two queer-looking Afro-Latina ladies earlier in the show who got no backstory. I had no idea who the fuck they were. And arguably more important than these two gay bears, because they provide this little white girl who is the catalyst for the show. It's like, arguably those two lesbian women, they may not have been lesbians, were more, they could have been though, because the show just decided to let's do a whole episode on this 5-second illusion in the video game about this gay man. So turn them into lesbians and give me their backstory if you need to do a gay episode, because it's pertinent to the actual show. This is exactly what they were looking for. They're like, look what we did. Look how powerful, how brave. It was a brave episode. You'll cry. It was brave. These two upstate New York gentrifying looking dudes picking strawberries in a zombie show. What am I watching? This is, again, their story itself was beautiful. I'm not a robot. I mean, there was a beauty to it. But guy, fucking 45 minutes in here, I've only seen two plant zombies. What are we doing? Ugh. It's fine. It's fine. Are there going to be any other black people on this show? Let's find out. I'm going to do a drinking game. How many fucking black people who aren't caricatures or queer lesbians show up in this fucking show? Oh, God. I'm a man out of time. I'm old. I'm fucking Archie Bunker. I've been Archie Bunkered. People are gonna make me have to go fucking move to Texas and get treated like shit there. There's no place for me. I accept that. Yeah. I don't know. The world is looking dicey these days. I hope you're doing okay, guys. I hope your relationships are flourishing, but I also hope you're not being complacent and just giving in to safety in lieu of pursuing your dreams. Oh no, that's what I'm doing. All right, well, I guess I'll keep on talking until someone starts listening. All right, people, I love you. I do. I mean that. Thanks for listening. Peace.